Hey, welcome back to Don't Run with Scissors. I'm Kelly, your favorite Jeep driving lawyer, mom of twins, for crazy rescue dogs, rescue cat, and rescue guinea pig who likes to craft in her spare time and has gone back to school and finished her degree in sign language interpreting and is now studying for her certification exam. I'm trying to train for Ironman. And if you're new here, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. It sends me a message, it boosts my serotonin and my self-esteem, and I could use that. And if you are a returning friend, welcome back. Grab your drink. You already know the crazy you're in for. So again, grab your drink, sit on back, and let's have at it. Last week was insanely busy. My trial ended on Friday. We stayed after 5. We were in the courthouse till almost 5:30 actually. Finishing up with closing arguments and stuff. The judge now has 21 days to issue her written opinion. So it is in hers and God's hands right now. I will say that I have gone over everything and, could I have hired an expert on drugs? Sure. On drug toxicology. I don't know that would really, I think the judge has enough knowledge that it's not really, I don't think that's going to be the make it or break up point. I don't think it was necessary. I think that we went through everything. I think that given the time pressures of my closing argument, that, I may have left some highlights out of the closing arguments, but really and truly closing arguments aren't evidence. So they're not really considered. So, and the judge was very, very on top of things. So, and all of the issues. So I have a good feeling. My Tuesday hearing went well. We ended up actually reaching a consent order because the referee started to look at all of our evidence. He goes, I didn't even get a quarter of the way through it. And he actually told opposing counsel, he goes, I don't care what your psychologist says. He goes, first of all, that psychologist has been giving a lot of huge leeway to people lately. That is alarming to me and of concern. But he goes, one only needs to look at some of these text messages to know that your client has issues that are affecting her son. There's no way they couldn't be. So, if we go to a trial and I have to, all these actually get admitted into evidence and I don't see any reason why they wouldn't be, your client's not going to like it. So why don't I give you some time to work with the opposing counsel to come up with a compromise? And we were able to reach one, knowing that at any time, if anything changes, we can be back in front of this judge we can actually do an ex parte, and that's an immediate hearing. And then, unless it happens on a weekend, and then we have to wait till Monday, obviously. But so that was good news. My probable cause hearing, I started to get chewed out for the judge because I was like, we can't go forward with a probable cause hearing. I don't have all of the evidence yet from the prosecutor's office. So, and I said, Your Honor, if you can recall, we've been here 3 times now, and 3 times on the record, I have asked for the body cam footage. 3 times I've been promised by the prosecutor I would have it almost immediately. I said, that does not include all of the times I have asked for it via email and a letter. I said, and I still don't have it. And I'm not waiving that. So she then turned to the prosecutor and got on him. Needless to say, I have gotten the body cam footage. Have I had a chance to look at it? No, I have not. This weekend, I could have kept working. I have case evaluation on Tuesday on a case and some other stuff this week, but I elected to use this weekend to recharge my battery. You can learn. So I went and saw the dermatologist about my face, and she confirmed it is rosacea. 2 of the biggest triggers for rosacea are stress and hormones. And then foods like spicy foods, And she mentioned Italian. I don't know that I would ever consider Italian spicy food. But maybe I'm just not eating that kind of Italian food. I don't know. Strawberries and cinnamon, which I thought was very weird. Peanuts, which is not an issue for me. And stuff. So she has started me on a round of Keflex, which, if you're familiar with antibiotics, is like the only thing that I've ever taken that's stronger than Keflex is when they did the PIC line with vancomycin in it. But Keflex tears up my stomach, something fierce. And so I've just kind of felt, because I have to take 500 milligrams 3 times a day for a month. So, yeah, which creates other issues, as you know, as a female. So we have to contract all of that. I also got put on 2 face creams and a special wash for my face. So it's a lot. Is it feeling better? It actually is starting to feel better. Is it back to my normal? No, not yet. But considering it's only been a week, and I was so grateful when I called, and I'm like, look, I was near tears. I'm like, look, it hurts. It actually hurts. I'm like, I don't think that the other cream, she did acknowledge that the other cream, yes, they typically will use that. Some people can use it, some people can't. I'm going to be one of those that my skin just won't tolerate it. And that's fine. So she was, though, surprised that the doctor hadn't started me on an oral antibiotic or anything. And I don't understand. I don't get the connection because it's not bacteria that's causing this. So I don't understand the connection. So I don't know. But whatever. Right now, other than it's making my system really kind of, and so I am taking my probiotic. So everybody can relax. I am taking a probiotic to hopefully help with everything, but we may need something a little bit more strong to sort of settle the rest of the system. So Saturday morning, my son had a band festival, Red Cedar, and we drove. I felt so bad. My mom went by the sheet, and they ended up going on stage early. So literally, my mom got there in time for what the sheet said, but because they had moved them around or whatever, done them earlier, my mom got there just as they left the stage. My poor mom. I feel bad. The band sounded amazing. And if you're friends with me on Facebook, I did post them up there. It was probably one of the best like, they sounded better than, I think this is probably one of the best times that they've sounded. I took stitching with me so that while I was waiting, I could stitch. I filmed my son's concerts, which was good because he had a solo, which was a really exciting mama moment. My mama heart was proud. But I decided that it's okay for me to take the weekend and to be in the moment and to enjoy my family. And Saturday morning we did that. And then Saturday afterwards, we ended up going to lunch with my mom. Those of you who have been here for a while know that my mom and I don't have the best relationship. And so that was kind of, I was like, ooh, I don't know how this is going to go, but we're just going to go and we're just going to roll with it kind of thing. And it actually ended up being a really nice meal. And I'm glad we did it. So that was nice. I came home and I took a nap, a couple hour long nap. I slept for a couple hours today too. I don't know if it's the antibiotic that's making me feel this way. I don't know if it's just my system like trying to deal with it all. I don't know. So I sent my videos for peer review over to my partner, so now I'm waiting on hers. Could I have done work this weekend? Absolutely. Seriously, sure. But honestly, clearly I just needed to rest. So, did I do a whole lot of stitching this weekend? I actually didn't. Usually I have a lot of stitching done on the weekends. I took 2 projects with me yesterday to the band festival, and before the band took the stage, I stitched. And I ended up stitching on my sorority piece, which you'll see in a bit, because the lighting wasn't good enough for me to work on Rosie, and then I would have had to have pattern keep. Hang on, my dogs are getting cranky. Okay. So, didn't want to have Pattern Keeper really bright in the auditorium, even though because it was dark. And so I ended up working on my sorority piece, so that was good. So, okay. For Hall, I got my market order in. I pre-ordered a couple things.
Send me a link to the Facebook post with all the recording so you can record.
Yeah. I get the cookbook. Last year I bought the cookbook. I didn't make anything out of it, either stitching or cooking wise yet. This year I have not made anything out of it cooking wise, but the boy has requested me to make it's by Bendy Stitchy Designs. So Michelle Garrett, it's her pattern for you get the cookbook. It's her pattern for Taco Cat. So that's part of Taco Cat, but he's dressed up like a taco. He's super, super cute. So I have to do that. So that goes in my bag that I keep all of my ornaments in. The other thing, I put in an order with Bobby from Pumpkin Creek Primitives. If you are not familiar with Bobby, you should be. I love me some Pumpkin Creek Primitives. So I ordered Seasons of the Heart, Hearts for Pam by the Blue Flower. It's super cute. I'm going to make this for the girl child, for Bean, because it's Australian animals, and that is just, Bean's going to love it. So whatever, I also have the ABC alphabet, the animal alphabet from the Blue Flower. I think I'm going to get a piece of fabric that's big enough so I can do both of them on there in the same color. So it will be some sort of blue-green. So super excited about that. When am I going to start it? I don't know. The other one that I pre-ordered, and I'm super, super excited about it, is 4th of July Rules by Primrose Cottage. I love their autumn stitches, and I keep going, I'm going to buy it, and then I don't buy it. Some of these I like, but I'm like, this one I fell in love with, and I absolutely had to have it. And I'm also not a big patriotic stitcher, which is weird. I mean, I don't know. Military, yes. I have family, like my father, my grandfathers, my brother, several cousins, all military. But I don't necessarily stitch Go USA stuff. But this one I fell in love with, and I think what got me and really sold me on it is the one that says, "Remember the Fallen." So I will be stitching this. I have to, it calls for 32 count light taupe. I don't know who light taupe is by. I'm going to assume maybe a Zweigart. I don't know. If you know, let me know. So I'm going to get a taupey color linen. It's a 32 count. If you do it on 32 count, it works out to be 4 inches wide by 18 1/4 inches long. It's really not that big. I mean, it's not small, but it's not ginormous as some of my projects. And I love stitching alphabets. I'm one of those freaks. And I will be honest with you, I am not going to I'm not going to convert any of the colors. I think she nailed it with her red and her, like, she calls her DMC. I am not a fan of DMC 666. I think maybe it could just be the number, but I also feel like I don't know. I'd rather use 321. But she doesn't use either one of those for her reds. I'm not sure which one of them is her red, but offhand, you'd think I would know, but I don't. Let's see. She used DMC 22 for her red. 22 and 3777. It's only a handful of DMCs. It's like less than 10, right? It's 11. I lied. It's 11. I'm just going to use the call for. I think And, one of these days I want to be the person who has a house that I can have like these little vignettes of things. But I've also come to the realization at 52 at this point, I will probably never, like, that may be a pipe dream. It may never actually happen. But she does show them in here, where she's done them as little separate, like pillows. I may do them as little ornaments also for the office ficus. We'll see. We'll see. So if you would like to sell that with me, let me know. I know that somebody else reached out to me on Instagram, and I'm totally blanking on which friend of mine it is because I am a shitty friend sometimes. And they wanted to sell that together, and I thought that was great. So we don't have a hashtag for it. I don't know. I suck at hashtags too. So the other thing that I did was on Etsy. They're by Lila Studio, and it's Spring Parade 1 and 2. And I bought them all because you can't have one without two, in my opinion. And so you can do them as little individuals, but she also does them as 2 sets of 4, like as a little choo-choo train. What's not to love about bunnies and ducks and sheep driving vegetables? I mean, it's a bunny driving an artichoke car. What? And a bunny driving a radish car. And I love the bunny and the strawberry, honestly. He's probably my favorite. And then over here you have bunnies and ducks, or are they? Yeah. You have a bunny and a duck driving together, or no, I lied. It's 2 bunnies driving an egg cart, and then a carrot car, and they're just so cute. So I want to get those going. Are they going to get started tomorrow? Nope. Will they get started soon? Maybe. Okay. The other one that I bought, and I know Tammy from Leopard and Lace Boutique and I are going to stitch this together. Okay. If you do a sale with me, I know it's supposed to be a stitch along. The reality is it's probably going to be a start along. In case you are new here, I suck at sales. I want to stitch all the sales. I tend to buy sales. Sometimes I even start them. And then they languish. And that is why we are in the situation we are this year, where we're still trying to finish a bunch of sales from 2021. Yeah. So I bought this though because I'm going to stitch this probably on something with a pinkish undertone, because that is one of my mentors and tutors in the ASL program, Joyce. She's battling lung cancer. She's doing really well though. She happens to be very religious. I was going to do His Name is Jesus again. Her favorite color is pink, and I'm kind of talking around about her. So her favorite color is pink, and she has very strong faith. She attends church regularly. So I was going to do His Name is Jesus, and I was just like, I don't know. I don't know. It wasn't feeling right. I don't know why it wasn't feeling right, what it wasn't. But then I found this piece, and I absolutely like those little sheep. And I may do the little, like the little lammies. I may do them like where the first leg is all done in like white or B5200, and then the upper leg, the second leg, is done in whisper, so they're fuzzy. But it's charted in DMC. If you do it on 14 count, it ends up being the sample is shown on oatmeal colored Ada, 14 count oatmeal Ada. And it ends up being 100. It is 111 stitches by 186. So if you stitch it on 14 count or on 28 count linen 2/2, then it's 9 by 15, which really isn't. It's not a huge jungus piece. That's a nice piece. So this will get started as soon as I can figure out the fabric. So yeah. So that's and then I bought the for those of you who watch the Sunshine Stitchers, EJ did the butt cheeks with Harder on it. Harder Daddy. And I bought that pattern. It's been in my cart for the longest time. I finally pulled the trigger because I got a coupon from the seller. And then I bought the heart sampler. I think I told you guys that before. And so yeah, that's all of my haul. I know. Oh, and then I had bought remember I had misplaced my lavender and lace patterns for Celtic Noel to do the Christmas tree mashup. So I got the new copy in. So I have a backup copy because because I found mine. I told you guys it would happen. There are a couple other pieces that are patterns that came out at Margaret that I'm like, they will probably eventually come home with me, but right now they're not. And that's okay. That's okay. So, as far as stitching, it was kind of a light week because of everything else, and that's fine. So today I worked on Lucy lady, what? Why don't you go lay with the boy and let him cuddle you? Okay? Go lay with the boy. Apparently I'm going to be doing the rest of my floss tube one-handed because my old lady, my big girl, needs some extra love, and that's okay. Okay, so on Sundays I stitch on stockings. Plus, it was a January WhipGo call. I'm a little off on WhipGo. Am I okay with that? Yes, it is creating a little bit of anxiety. I'm not gonna lie. But I think once I am done with Rosie, which you'll see in a few minutes, and we're super, super close. I think once I have that off my plate, I'll be able to sort of work on a better rotation, and it'll be fairly easy to get caught up. So on each of my squares on WhipGo, for the stocking, it's 100 stitches. So I have 2 more squares left after today before I can cross that off. So this is my son's stocking. It's a Bucilla kit. I'm using all of the called for that came with the kit. Well, Jessica and I joke about it being Vanessa's stocking because that's the name of the stocking. When it is all said and done, it will not say Vanessa. As much as I joke around with my son, I'm not going to have it say Vanessa. Although now it's gotten to be such a joke that maybe I will. Okay. So I'm working on that ginormous bow. And it looks so good even without the back stitching. So I have done the back stitching for up here just so that I didn't have to go back. Lord, William, can you please with her? She just wants to be pet and loved. I don't know if they need, if you got. Okay, so we're working on the ginormous bow, and it's starting to, I'm adding in the 2 big jingle bells here. So that's where we're at. So like I said, I have to put in at least 200 more stitches to be able to cross the January square off. So, on my WhipGo, so I've done the other January square, and then I did the extra square. So technically, I have 2 squares done for I did 2 squares in January. But, now we're in March. We're in March. It's okay. The other thing that I have worked on just a little tiny bit, I will admit, like, my stitchy bug really isn't here right now. And I don't know if it's just because I'm just feeling so blah or what. I think you can see, I just look tired.
Okay.
And I look really red. My son says it's really bad in person. Like, it's not showing up on screen, which is good. So this is the Peppermint Purple Year of Black work from 2021. Told you, I joined all the sales, and I don't think I finished a single one. So my goal is that this year I do it basically a block a week.
Her face looks like this in real life. Like a little bit.
It's so red that my judges have been asking me, "Are you okay, Miss Regal Green?" Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
It looks horrible.
Okay, so my goal is to do. I think the first row done, maybe. I don't know. I don't even think I had 2 rows done when I started. But y'all can look back and look. I'm just pulling. I had some random leftovers, DMCs and blues, which are my favorites. So I'm just randomly grabbing blues to do the rest of it. So my goal is to do a block a week. Now, some weeks I manage to do 2. Usually on the week where I'm doing a smaller block, I can knock out 2. I have started this block, but didn't get very far. So hopefully we can knock out a couple this week. Because again, that's on my focus in 2020 for 24 and 24 to have that sale done and off the books. Because, yeah, okay. Okay, this is the Wonders of the Solar System by Climbing Goat Studios. This is what it will look like in a perfect world. I will tell you that in retrospect, I would have picked a totally different fabric. And I think we've talked about this, like I was going to restart it because I'm not thrilled with my fabric choice. My daughter is like, "It's fine, Mom, it's fine." But what that means is all these little stars, I'm going to have to stitch.
Yeah. Well, why don't you just...
In retrospect, I would have picked maybe an opalescent and left the stars off, honestly. But we're at almost 50%, I think, or right around 50%. Let me look. It's on my pattern key. I got it loaded into Pattern Keeper. I will tell you that I stitch much faster on projects like this where there's a lot of different colors and switching. If it's in Pattern Keeper. Yeah, I'm at 49.68% right now. So this is also on my get it done in. So basically 50%, my son said, just say 50%. This is it's just on a gray 18 count Ada, nothing special. For WIPGO, in order for me to finish this in just with WIPGO squares, I have to stitch each block in my WIPGO has like 10 sessions kind of thing. Each one of those has to be 424 stitches. Yeah. Right now, in order to get block done from February, because this was a February call and then it's on here one other time and it hasn't been called yet, I still need to stitch 5 more times. So just over 2,100 stitches left to be able to cross off that square. That's a lot of stitches. What was I thinking? I don't know. Anyways, I think this was also another one of those 21 sales. 2021. So we're stitching the sun. And the sun is big. And the sun has a lot of orange. And I find it absolutely hysterical that once I say, I'm not really a fan of orange, suddenly all of my whips are orange. I did take the time to, I had ordered some more of the plastic floss drops that I like off of Amazon. I don't think they're that expensive, honestly. For 40, it's like $15. And honestly, ordering them in sets of 40 works out cheaper per piece than ordering 100, which makes no sense. None. So I ordered 40. That isn't enough to even do all of the floss for this project. So, my goal is to slowly order them, not to just order 50,000 of them, because that would be really expensive. So, okay. Oops. That's my orange for the sun to finish up. I still have 213 stitches in that color orange, but they're all in the sun. So once I have the my dog bells work. My dog bells work better than blink. Kill it. Quiet killer. Okay. Sometimes I call her Cujo too. Okay. Oh, the other thing that I bought was an SVG file for my Cricut for Wizard of Oz. There's a part of my ADHD in trying to make things like more, what is it, the home edit friendly, or to look more organized and not so haphazard. A lot of my project bags are all different sizes. They're not like, and I mean, some of my projects I automatically know, okay, that's this project, that's that project. But some of them, like, I don't even have project bags for, and I'm like, yeah, I could make them, but then I was like, I could just order those plasticky ones off of Amazon, like bulk, and just put like a sticker on the bag, like the Wizard of Oz SVG, and then of course my little bag tags, and maybe that would look neater. But then I think, no, I'm just focusing on the wrong problem, the wrong part of the problem. The problem is I have too many darn UFOs. So maybe if I just finish some things, it just wouldn't be an issue. Okay, so on Saturday, like I said, I worked on my sorority Saturday. I'm an Alpha Gamma Delta. This is our armorial bearings, or as the lay people say, our crest. I absolutely love it. So I finished up the gold in here, and I started to do this part down here. So not all of this is gold, but a vast majority of the ribbon is gold, now that the red's in. And then the rest is just green, and then more green, and then more green. And did I tell you there's even more green? There's a lot of green left to do in this project. I find it funny, though, like I said, that when I say I'm not a big fan of stitching of like orange or like X, Y, Z, suddenly all my lips are like, that's the color that's being called. The one project I have been really wanting to stitch on is my Wizard of Oz montage that I'm doing. I almost grabbed that to take with me yesterday, but then again, it was a pattern keeper, and I was like, I better take something that's not on pattern keeper that I don't need to necessarily count. And like right now, I'm just filling in on the big sections. So it was kind of one of those. I was like, so the other February call that I haven't even touched is Santa's Travels. And I'd like to get that one. That's also a 24 and 24. And for me, each block out of the 10 times that it's the 10 squares, it's on here on my board twice. Each month is a 10 times kind of thing. And if I only work on this project, those 20 stitch sessions, and I want to have it done this year, then each block has to be 358 stitches. So we still have to finish up February's. We're still finishing up January's. And then we have to start March. And March actually brings us a new start. And that is my daughter's stocking. And I'm just going to do 1,000 stitches for the month kind of thing is the goal, because it's 10 times 10. And then to work on the picture of Kay and Dennis for my friend's parent, for his mom. So a majority of my focus right now is on finishing Rosie. And I have been working on this project now for 13 months and 5 days. Not continuously, and clearly not monogamous. I'm not a monogamous stitcher. My ADHD doesn't allow me that. Do I wish I was? Sometimes I do. And sometimes I get in a group and I am a monogamous or close to a monogamous stitcher. Right now, I have Rosie at 97.07% done. I have less than 1,900 stitches to go. Yesterday, I worked on her a little bit, and was it yesterday or Friday? I worked on her a little bit, and my needle actually, it has been bending. It broke. So I use Bowens. My Bowen needle, I probably got about 60,000 stitches out of it. That's a pretty good investment because I bought 100 for like $18. So my cost per needle is pretty low. So no sadness there, except for, when your needle gets a little bit bent and it's like just at that perfect, and I sew in hand, so it's like just that perfect, like, yeah. So I'm a little sad about that. So anyways, Rosie is now, again, she's 63,240 stitches. We're at 97.07% done. I have completed 61,387 stitches to date. And here's where she is. She's so freaking gorgeous. Again, if I was to do her over, I think I would try either gridding my own fabric or gridded fabric. I also would probably stitch 1/1 instead of 2/1 on 20 count. She's super tight and it's causing some curling. Now, I think once she's washed and then she's laced or pinned, it's going to be fine. But I think I'm also at that point where I've really got to start looking for framing. And I want an old rustic barn look, like old reclaimed barn wood would be ideal. There is an Etsy seller who said he will make it to the dimensions that I need using reclaimed barn wood, but the frame is going to be like $50. And I know that sounds like it's not a lot, but it kind of is a lot. If you'll hold 1 second. Hey, Bean, can you refill my water cup? Yeah. Awesome, Pop.
I'm the only one that fed Pop.
Okay. So right now, I will say that everything from where the front end and the back meet, that line, everything this way is 100% done. It was coffee. I don't know if it's clean. What? That's fine. Okay. Everything over here. And okay, so here's a funny thing. I finally looked at it and realized that's like a barn off in the distance. I thought it was a bush. I think it's a barn that's behind some bushes. And okay. The other thing that I would have done differently is, honestly, I would have done the white that's in the moon. First of all, I would have waited to do that last because my moon right now is kind of grungy looking. It's a year-old project. It's going to get grungy. It's going to have hand oil on it and stuff like that. But I think I also would have done it like one strand of the white, one strand of E940, so it would have glowed in the dark. So, live and learn. Am I going to do this over again? Probably not. I keep kicking around the idea of doing it again for my wall so that my friend and I have matching pieces. And then I think, no. She's a labor of love, and I think that part of the charm is that there is only one of it. And I have other pieces that I would really like to focus in on getting done to hang in my own house. And there may come a time where maybe my friend and I are closer and I'll get to see it on a more regular basis. But right now, I'm fine with him having the only Rosie hanging. I have kicked around also. I've had several people express interest in stitching Rosie. I have kicked around putting the pattern in my Etsy shop. So who knows? But so tonight I am focusing on getting this little splush of stitches. There's probably about 20 more stitches in here that I have to fill in. That's where I've been working today. This line up here filled in, and then back up that I'm going to work on filling in. So if I have to set a goal, I mean, I would love to tell you that when I come back next week, she'll be done. No part. But the reality is, I have a hearing, and then I have to drive to Fort Wayne. By the way, Janet, are you close to Fort Wayne, Indiana? Because I have to drive down either on Thursday or Friday. It'll be kind of a fast turnaround, but I would love to have coffee with you if you're in the Fort Wayne area. And if there's any stitching shops in the Fort Wayne area that will be open on either Thursday or Friday, I would love to stop by and see, you know. So I would love to say that she'll be done this next week. I really don't think she will be. But we're getting so close, you guys. So close. It's crazy. So that's all my stitching. That's all my haul. That's all my life. I know. I live on the edge. Most of the dishes are done. Bean did a bunch of dishes. The boy child didn't like what he cooked tonight. I thought it was pretty decent. I mean, it wasn't like right home or anything, but it was decent. So he ordered pizza. He is liking his new job, which isn't quite new anymore. So yeah. So I did get a question, and it's come up a couple times actually, about my 52 card whip pickup that I did last year and how I set it up. So I'm going to take a second and just kind of briefly explain it to you. I put pieces that I'd like to at least touch or focus on my whip go board. I didn't do 52 card whip pickup this year because I couldn't figure out, with everything going on and what I knew was going to go on this year, how to manage whip pickup, focus the 24 and 24, certification prep, growing my business, and everything else, and really wanting to get some of these household projects done. So I elected not to do 52 card whip pickup this year. Will I do it next year? I'm kind of leaning back towards doing it. It was really good to be able to touch projects that kind of had fallen by the wayside, and not because I wanted them to, but just because of life. I finished quite a few things last year. I also touched some pieces and figured out why they weren't ones that I was gravitating towards. A prime example is Dreaming Girl. I love the fabric that I picked. I love the pattern. I didn't like them together. So what we realized last year was I just need to restart Dreaming Girl on something better, a different fabric. And then scrap that fabric and use it for something else, likely a Halloween stitch or something. I don't know. So it was really cool. So all I did, I have file cards here. I mean, I have 3 of us in school, and I use file cards all the time for things. Like, I will use file cards to make lists on, and I am the kind of person who will make list of my list. And so I grabbed a stack of file cards and I drew, I think for the most part, I cut them out on my Cricut, honestly, if I recall, because I threw my cards out. I think that for last year I did. I used my Cricut. Now I ended up with 56 cards because I'm an idiot, and I'm stupid, and I put the 1 of hearts, the 1 of spades, the 1, and clearly there is none of that. That would be the ace. So I had 4 extra cards. So I grabbed all of my whips. I grabbed my whip list that I keep as a Word document on my computer. And on every single card, I wrote a different whip. I still had cards left over, even out of the 52. So I added in a couple sewing whips because I'm a sewer and a quilter. And I added in a couple knitting crochet whips because I'm multi-craftual. And so then once I had them on the opposite, like I had the face value on the one side, and then on the blank side, I had the whip. So then I just shoved them in a pile and I shuffled them up and shuffled them up. Oh, and I punched a hole in the corner so that I could keep them on a ring and just kind of flip them over. So I shuffled them all up, and I made it so that on Sunday, I would just flip to the next card, go, okay, what am I going to add to my focus rotation this week? And I just made it a point so that at least once during that week, I would stitch on it. Now, some of them, they were stupidly close to being finished. And if I worked on it like an extra week or two, I could get it done. And I elected to do that on some of them. Some of them I didn't. I was like, okay, done with you kind of thing. We'll put you back. My recommendation to somebody who wanting to do it is great to be able to touch a lot of whips during a year. If I do it next year, which I am considering, I will not. God willing, my whip list after this year will be, cut down significantly. I'm really trying not to start a bunch of new projects this year, but to really focus on finishing, and especially finishing some of these bigger ones. Will I have new starts? Clearly, I just told you about a couple of them. But I want to get my whip list down more. I have it slated so that, like right now, I have 8 full coverages. And I have it slated to have at least 2 of those finished this year. Actually, 2, maybe 3 of them. 2 of those finished this year. Rosie being one of them. And to be honest with you, I thought Rosie would be already done this year. So I'm a little behind, and it's kind of freaking me out. I have also my 12 by 12 from New Year's Eve. And my goal is that, like, on this year, on federal holidays and stuff, I pull those out and work on them. Because they're mostly like little ornaments. Now, the ones that are left are really series, except, okay, so I have the donkey left. I have Coulter from Coulter and Clementine from the Frosted Pumpkin. I have the Heat and Snow Miser. I have the Autumn Lane Stitchery Christmas ornaments, like the Elf, Rudolph, Frosty, Mr. and Mrs. Claus. And I have the Polar Plunge series. We've been over this so many times. I feel like I'm repeating myself to you guys. But out of the 12 by 12s that I've already started and got like work on, I've already finished 6.5 of them. And really the donkey, he's probably at about halfway done too. And like I said, I've finished 1 out of the 2 Frosted Pumpkins. So, and so like the fox couple and the donkey ornament, those are on my focus in 24 as well, because I didn't want to start them and just have them lingering. They're ornaments, for God's sake. They're not like ginormous pieces. So out of my 24 and 24, I've already finished 6. And I'm getting close to having Rosie done. At which point then my major focus will be the Kay and Dennis piece, because that I really would like to give that to Kay for this year for Christmas. We're coming along on the Peppermint Purple. We're coming along on the Alpha Gamma Delta crest. Obviously the Space Sail Mini Long Dogs is actually coming along as well. Let's see what else is on here. Now I have not touched Monopoly, the Purple, obviously. My mini Mermaid Santa, y'all, this is a joke. I literally should just take a weekend. I don't think it would take me much longer than that. All that's left is backstitching his fin and the tattoos on his arms. I mean, it's a buttload of backstitching, but still. And then that one's done. I do need to start working on Summertime because that was my goal to have it done by July. So to be honest with you, I may pull out Summertime instead of Dennis and Kay, although Dennis and Kay is a whip go call this month. So I may work that into there. But again, it's not like these are major. So it's doable. It's all, even if I fall a little short, it's still significant. Look, I've already had like 7 finishes for this year, 6 or 7 finishes for this year. Like, that's pretty darn good. So with that, you can always reach out to me. I know that business is busy, which is, I am so grateful for. So grateful for. Things are going well. I don't know what my goals this week are really and truly to focus in on Rosie, to work at least one spot on my black work style, and to think that's obviously to finish my one block on the peppermint purple style, ideally the 2, and focus it on Rosie, and then to knock out the 200 more stitches on William's stocking before I see you next, because then I can finally cross off all of January whip go squares. So that'll be good. And then more Rosie and more Rosie. And I don't get tired of working on Rosie. I really don't. Like, that's the fun part about it. I haven't gotten tired. Sometimes I'm like, really, can we switch up colors? And I do. But now the way I'm attacking it is not by color completion. It's by area, because we're getting so close to being done. And that way I'm not missing stitches. So, like, I don't really have that issue anymore. So, I don't know. So, with that, remember, you are smart. You are beautiful. You are cherished. You are wanted. You are loved. You are strong and brave. You are needed here. And you are important. So I love you. Feel free to reach out to me, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye.